This video was made possible by EA Game Changers.
Hi guys, welcome back to Simproved, Fry speaking here, and welcome back to another Sims 4 video. Today we're gonna build with the early access version of Cottage Living, the new expansion pack coming to The Sims 4, and EA was so nice to, give me a pre-release version so we could try out all the stuff. I already did a couple of videos where I look into the build and buy assets and the hidden debug objects that come with this pack, and this is my first build that I ever did during that early release phase thing. So it's called Cottage Living. Well, what do you expect I'm going to build first? It's of course a cottage. Well, I have built a couple of cottage in my lifetime in Sims, not even Sims 4, but like Sims 1 probably as well, back in the very early days. Anyways, cottages are kind of look small, they are cute, they're like not the huge mansions or crazy, I don't know, spaceships or whatever I come up with these days. So in my opinion, this is basically a family home stuff. This is a thing that you guys always want to see, right? Like, I'm lacking family houses. Here is one, basically. And also, this is not as sped up as, my usual speed build. So this is a little bit slower. You can see the watermark would hop like strobo throughout the whole build, which is not happening here. But basically this is a tiny little build where I also wanted to try out, as you can see, a diagonal. Diagonals are a... Can I say bitch in my videos? I want to say bitch in my videos. Is a bitch in The Sims 4 because we don't have diagonal stairs. There's lots and lots of stuff that suddenly changes color, no, not color, but like texture and stuff when it's on a diagonal for reasons we all don't know and never will understand. Anyways, I wanted to try out the diagonal here as well because I was fearing the same thing happening with the assets from Build and Buy in Cottage Living, and surprise, it happens. So yeah, placing stuff on the roof in the diagonal, as you can see here, is again not really happening. It's just not working. So dormers kind of work, but not really. But these little thatched roof, I would call them, I don't know, highlights on top. These are very hard to place if you don't want to cheat with Moo or like move them up or something. They don't snap accurately. This is something we see so many times, and this is also one of these bugs, or I don't know what to call them, in the Sims 4 build mode that kind of, made me uninterested in building in the Sims for quite some time. Like I'm like, the roofs are... I mean, I never had problems with doing roofs or something, right? Like, they're fiddly, I know, but like placing this stuff, this should snap, man, because it snaps on the normal, straight line. It doesn't matter. Anyways, this happens here too. So when you get the pack, if you get the pack, just know some things don't snap, and maybe for unexperienced builders, just stay away from building diagonally. It's just way easier. The game is not made to build diagonally. I don't know why they even put that in, but there are lots of issues with diagonals, definitely. And we keep on having them with the Cottage Living things. But yeah, I think this is more of a build mode issue than, a specific pack issue. Anyways, I was going for the whole theme of it could be medieval, it could also be, nowadays, or like, I kind of feel that Cottage Living is taking place in the 50s. I don't know why. Maybe there are some lore simmers that I don't know of, but this should be something they kind of have to address, maybe. I really want to, I always see the lore about the Sims living in these packs, and I'm like, who cares about these Sims? I'm more interested into the production design and why some certain stuff looks the way it does. And the idea is that this is a 50s England. In the 50s is because of the ruins. Why the ruins is apparently a fort or a castle, maybe a church, cathedral kind of abbey thing. And it apparently got destroyed during Second World War and never rebuilt. And I'm just going to assume, I'm not a huge historian, but I just think they put the ruins in there because it's definitely after World War II, but not too far in that they could restore it basically to its former glory. So yeah, this is my whole idea behind that Cottage Living is taking place maybe in the 50s or later 40s. I don't know, maybe even during the 40s. I'm not sure, but yeah, this is my idea. Maybe there is no war in Cottage, in the Sims world. There's no war, but they have military definitely because they included that nicely in Strangerville. So apparently there is war in the Sims world, but not really though, right? Because it's for kids and they don't want to have war. Anyways, so I tried to use as many assets from the build by catalog from that, from the pack. You can see the 2 different dormers here. I think I used 4 different windows, 2 different doors, or like more different doors. I'm not even sure. And also I'm going to go with like this beigey brown theme, just so you can kind of maybe restyle the interior later for like a maybe medieval kind of thing, because I'm like into the medieval stuff. I'm not sure what it is, but I want to have a medieval Sims. I've seen enough of I want to have medieval Sims. Anyways, that would be just my interest, and I think I can get as a builder I want to have medieval, and also if possible maybe they can go a little bit crazy with their Sims fantasy fairies and stuff. I'm not super into fairies, but I mean they could maybe put that into a medieval pack, because I know lots of Simmers want to have fairies. We had that in Sims 3 and apparently they were cute. Or werewolves maybe. Both, all of them. But yeah, basically, like I said, I wanted to have the water wheel because the water wheel turns in live mode, which we established in the debug video where I was looking at the debug stuff. I was like, it turns, we have to put it in there. So I made a little pond, and that was also a little trick or like a thing that I wanted to test with the pond tool. Do you really have to make a hole in the ground and then fill it with water, or can you also put the walls up, like build a little mountain volcano kind of thing and fill that with water? The answer is yes. So the pond tool is kind of very, it works. I didn't run into any bigger problems, I would say. It is basically like the terrain paint or like the terrain manipulation also works. So that also makes all a coherent sense on how the water is like working, that you can fill it up and like you can have like different steps on how high the water is in that pond. So that's interesting. And I'm kind of interested in just in the future what else they're gonna give us into build mode. And by the way, I'm going to mix here, as you can already see, because the water wheel is debug, I'm gonna mix it with the round debug fences, because that's again a thing that doesn't work in build mode at this time. Round fences are also not really your friend these days in build mode. So whenever I can, I will now use the debug versions because they are just placeable. I don't know if the Sims can get through them, on some occasion, but the problem is the round floor plates, round platforms. Actually everything round is also kind of bugged, and therefore I'm kind of very, I want my builds to be at least playable. I mean, they look nice, the round stuff looks nice, but there is a reason why experienced builders and like all of the other bigger SimTubers that mainly build use objects to do the curves rather than using the curve, platforms and floor plates and stuff, because they are bugged. They're glitchy. Sims can get on there, or so all of a sudden they, the fences are, there's a glitch and you can't see them. They become see-through and just vanish, the fences, walls, or whatever it is. It's just, there are like lots of issues. They still are here. But this is why there is the debug fence, but this is basically the same looking fence that comes with the build by mode, so that was cool. I will use the build by mode fence in the back and then just use it with diagonals, maybe, you know. Of course, lots of ivy and the wisteria that we have with the pack, because these are like the assets that, in my opinion, are really versatile. You can place them wherever you want. You can make them smaller. You can place them on a wall. The only thing that I miss on the ivy is where's the edge version of the ivy, or at least like a really straight lined ivy, so you can put them on the edge. I'm not sure. In debug there is an edge version, like it's the, you know, that you can put it on the edge of every build, but it's not in build by, so I don't know what's happening there. Would just make it, you know, easier for builders, I guess, if they would put that in as well. Anyways, there's not so much foliage in this pack, as I said in the review. So lots and lots of the flowers here that you can see are either from normal build by base game or debug. I think some stones from debug I'm going to pull out, and definitely some of the trees, because there's this cute willow, and I think there's also like something that looks like, I'm not sure if it's a lilac. I'm not sure. I have to look at it in the video now to look it up. But some sort of flower. It could be like what the Germans call Holunder, but I'm not sure what it is in English. It's you can eat the flowers, but you can also eat the berries. I'm not sure. There's a willow, definitely. Willow is really nice because we didn't have a really nice willow yet. But yeah, there are really cool trees in there, in my opinion. That also look very good and high textured in build, you know, in the game itself. So I kind of like them a lot, and I think they could have been in the normal catalog. I'm not sure why this is not a thing. Because I think it's always a thing to put in cheats or to look stuff up, right? Like it's as far when you have to do like a thing to open the console, then you have to know the cheat, then you have to have the notification that it worked, which you don't get for show live edit objects, for example. You know, like all this stuff, it's kind of like unhandy and reducing the usability of the build mode. So in my opinion, it would be nice to have at least like a button that says advanced build mode or something, or that unlocks these assets just with a button, and then you can, you know, enable and disable it or something like that. That would make it way easier, because the assets are there. Putting in a cheat is always kind of like, I mean, wouldn't that make it also easier for console players? Because not all console players have like a keyboard and a mouse to their console as well. That way it's possible to select the cheats and all that stuff, but it's still, it's clunky. It shouldn't, you know, that's not the thing that should happen. Anyways, I'm ranting about the game again. I'm so sorry. But yeah, maybe you have realized that there has been quite some time that I have uploaded anything, because I really lost interest in the game. Because there have been so many, you know, building glitches that don't be fixed, that are not announced in the laundry list, that are not announced anywhere, that they are working on it or even know about it. And I sometimes felt like, am I the only one that has these glitches? Or is this something that only bugs me? But like, if you do it a lot and you play a lot with this game, of course, you know, you get more bugs than, you know, maybe, for example, I don't get the gameplay glitches and bugs that we can see a lot being fixed, because I just don't play with my Sims, right? I just build houses for them. Maybe I create them sometimes because I'm kind of interested about like what kind of person is living there, so I can, you know, kind of fit the house to their style. But yeah, here you can see me doing the exterior landscaping again, and there's a little garden patch, you know, crop field patch for that is new with the pack, and also a chicken coop. I didn't want to put the shed in because the shed is just enormous, and I just think maybe that's something you can, when you play with this house, because it's kind of small, you can like work towards to, you know, like sell some things, get like acquainted with the chickens first and the crops and whatnot, and then later, you know, save up for a cow or llama and like the shed. I think it's, I don't know how expensive that is, But I think for beginners it's quite like expensive, or like 500 simoleons or something, like a whole cow. I can't remember, but it was kind of a lot for a starter house, you know. And that's not the shed include, like the shed, I don't know how much that costs, but it's probably a lot. Anyways, I wanted them to be able to have a picnic on their little front porch garden, pre-garden. And I also wanted them to be able to have the crop fields, you know, so you have the whole, you know, scheme of this is farming, but in small Stardew Valley style, with the chicken coop, so you can get some chicken because they're rather, you know, cheap, so to speak. And the pond, just because I can use the water wheel and the new pond decoration, kind of try out the whole thing. So this was basically all of I want to test some things in build mode, how they implemented that, how they are working. Here you can see me placing the decorations for the pond. And they're gonna show up in live mode, so you can change like between ducks living there. There's the tree, what is that? I'm not sure what that is. But yeah, the one with the flowers hanging from it. Maybe someone can write that. Is it also a wisteria? I'm not sure. Looks interesting though. So you have like these patches, looks like stickers, and you can, some of them you can even put on normal ground. You don't have to put them on the water, but like the fishes, and there's like frogs or something. I can't remember what it all was. Definitely for the water, the ducks and the swans and whatnot. And then there's also fireflies and some sort of bugs, and you know, that you can also put on green grass or something. They show up as an animation, which is really cool. That is a really cool feature, and I'm thinking this is working, but I couldn't test that, you know, properly. I will definitely look into that, because in my opinion, this is a cool feature, you know, giving us animations in build mode. So just for the Sims team, I don't know if they watch the videos, but think about giving us a waterfall animation or some sort of more water splashes. Or something like fireworks and fire, or like magical flames, something like that, because I know that these stuff that, for example, came with Realm of Magic and the waterfall from Solani and I think Get Together, I'm not really sure, these debug object animations, these are really high up in like builders, you know, they use them a lot in their landscaping and stuff. And since they're debugged, they're not really supported, you know, by the game and like gameplay itself, kinda, sorta, they work, but you know, it's a complicated thing apparently. But if they make them for build by for these pond animations, or just like landscape animations, I will call them now, that would be really cool. That would be an asset that, yeah, it's just like a fun, you know, detail. So you can add clutter, but like animated clutter, and kind of make it more lived in, right? Because the gardens and everything are so stale. There's like nothing living in there. Except, yeah, I think not even cats and dogs. If you have like stray cats and dogs, they don't walk around your garden, right? So it would be nice to lift them up with some bugs and some butterflies and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Some frog noises maybe, or something coming out of a bush or whatever. These kinds of things would be really interesting. Just basically like the mouse hole thing that we have from City Living, I think, where like a mouse is coming out as well. So something like that, right? Like put that in like an animation category. And that definitely would be something that I know that a lot of simmers would get behind, because it's also cool for like a whole storytelling thing. But yeah, basically. So here you can see me, this is like a really open, you know, space. Started with a bedroom, has a gym. Everything has a fireplace here, everything. Because the fireplaces are really nice, and I kind of was like, I need like, so I used the new kitchen, I used the new dining table set. I basically used everything from the new pack. So everything you can see here is basically recycled. And I think I forgot to record the bathroom, but lo and behold, there is a sink there and a shower and a toilet. So what a surprise. Who would have thought that that isn't a bathroom? So yeah, I usually cut out the bathrooms, but it was very interesting. I'm not a big fan of these wallpapers with the floral thing, so I kind of went a lot with brick in the interior. I know this is maybe not very accurate, but I just didn't like the wallpaper. Maybe I have to get used to it, or kind of have to see what you can style this with. Yeah, it's just not, you know, it's just not my style. So I was like, yeah, I don't care really much. But they're all really well done. Lots of stuff. Here you can see the top-down view for those who want to rebuild this. I will also upload this to the gallery once I have, you know, once the pack comes out, so I can use the save file that I kind of got from that, you know, and hope that I can upload this to the gallery. So stay tuned, and then I will also provide you with a link in the comments down below. And here we are already in the screenshots. So yeah, I'm sorry that I rambled a lot about build mode and just how it works. But I mean, this is a visual thing, right? You can see I think it looks very quaint and kind of cute. I kind of experimented a lot more with the assets and how you could use them and how they work in build mode. But yeah, in my opinion, it's really cute. It's a cute little starter, even though it's like way over the top with the simoleons. But yeah, I think it looks very lived in, and it is nice that we have so many assets that, you know, can help you build this, even with base game together. It kind of fits very well this time, more than with Snowy Escape, for example. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Really hope that this inspired you, that you now know what to do, maybe what you can do in the cottage build with Cottage Living. And yeah, leave me a comment down below if you like this, if you want to see something more like this or something different. And yeah, that's basically it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.